Table of contents, we have growth of tourism, advantages and disadvantages, how careful management of tourism is required for sustainability, then Igcse questions and answers. So what is tourism in relation to geography? Tourism refers to the travel of people from one place to another for either leisure, business, or other purposes. It is a human activity that takes place within the geographical context. Tourism can have various impacts on the physical and cultural environment, including environmental degradation, which is basically the negative impact it has on the environment, like water pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, changes in cultural practices and economic development. Studying the geographic interactions and relationships between people and their physical and cultural surroundings can be done through the perspective of tourism. So what are the factors that influence the growth of tourism? What are those stuff that has made tourism to be evolving till date? We have first accessibility, improved transportation infrastructure, including air travel. High-speed railways has made more distant destinations accessible to tourists, so they can move easily from one country to another, because of less, maybe cheaper, because of less congestion or cheaper flight tickets. And then number 2, we have technology. The rise of social media and the internet has made travel planning easier and sharing experiences, which influences destination choices and makes people want to explore new places. So when you go on social media, you get to see a lot of people, a lot of cultures. You get to see how the experiences on the places that you want to go to, which will help you with your planning. And then economic development. Increase in standards of living and rising incomes in many parts of the world has led to an increase in disposable income, allowing more people to travel for leisure. And then changing demographics, including an aging population with more leisure and a growing middle class in emerging economies, contribute to the expansion of the tourism industry. So, growth of tourism in relation to main physical landscape attractions. So, the physical landscape attractions are not man-made, they are created by nature. So, what are those type of physical landscape attractions created by nature that brings the minds of tourists, that attract tourists? We have natural wonders, which are places like beaches, waterfalls, places with national parks. They attract tourists seeking outdoor adventures and beauty. Examples include the Great Barrier Reef in Australia and Mount Everest in Nepal. And then the second is climate and weather. Regions with pleasant climate often become tourist hotspots. Coastal areas with temperate climates, such as the Mediterranean, or tropical paradises like the Caribbean, draw tourists year-round. Cultural heritage sites, historical landmarks, and World Heritage sites offer insights into the past and attract tourists interested in history and culture. Examples include the pyramids of Giza in Egypt and the Taj Mahal in India. And then growth of tourism in relation to human landscape attractions. So these are man-made stuff. A man built them. Stuff like architecture. Most people with a visualized mind want to go to places with lots of beautiful architectures, like iconic buildings and structures showcasing human creativity and engineering ability, drawing tourists interested in architecture and design. Examples include the Eiffel Tower in Paris and Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Then we have urban attractions, vibrant cities with diverse cultural offerings entertainment options, shopping districts, and culinary scenes are magnets for tourists. Cities like New York, Tokyo, London, they all drag the attention of tourists because of their diverse cultural offerings. And then gastronomy, tourism, food and drink. They play a significant role in tourism, with travelers seeking authentic culinary experiences. Destinations renowned for their cuisine, such as Italy, France, and Thailand, see a surge in food tourism. So some people just go to places to try their food. So that's a part of human attraction. So, what are the benefits and disadvantages of tourism to receiving areas? So, receiving areas are the places where you go to as a tourist. Like maybe from Nigeria, you want to go and explore Italy. So, what are the benefits and disadvantages of tourism to Italy? So, the benefits are economic boost. Obviously, tourism generates substantial revenue, creates employment opportunities, and supports infrastructure development and public services, benefiting both residents and visitors through spending on accommodations, dining, transportation, and souvenirs. So they generate a lot of revenue from people, from tourists going into their country, which creates economic boost. By that, they will be able to increase the taxes of their country. They will be able to gain more revenue or more income through the tax, which would help them to develop the country. And then there could be cultural exchange. Tourism encourages cultural exchange between locals and visitors, fostering mutual understanding and appreciation. Cultural social experiences can help revive and sustain indigenous practices and languages, preserving intangible cultural heritage. So you get to meet different people from all over the world, and you'll be able to interact with them to see how they act, what they do, stuff like that, to increase your knowledge. And then infrastructure development. The need to accommodate tourists drives investment in infrastructure such as airports, roads, hotels, restaurants, and recreational facilities. Improved infrastructure can enhance the quality of life for residents, providing better transportation options and access to amenities. But the disadvantages are that there could be overcrowding and environmental degradation. Overcrowding in popular tourist destinations can lead to environmental degradation, just like how I was saying in the first slide. Pollution and habitat destruction, disrupting wildlife habitats, damaging coral reefs, and eroding natural landscapes. And then infrastructure strain and cost. Tourism growth can strain local infrastructure, public services, and resources, leading to congestion, waste management issues, and increased water and energy demand, particularly in resource-limited destinations. As you can see in the picture, there's a lot going on because of lack of, clearance of dirt and stuff. So there's water pollution, which could affect the organisms in the water, and that could lead to, reduction in food chain, and it could lead to a lot of stuff. Then the third disadvantage is negative socio-cultural impacts. Tourism can worsen social issues like crime, substance abuse, and exploitations in areas with inadequate regulation, leading to cultural clashes and misunderstandings between cultures and tourists. And then dependence and vulnerability. Receiving areas may become more vulnerable to changes in visitor numbers, economic downturns, or geopolitical instability if they depend too much on tourism as their main source of revenue. So if maybe a lot of tourists are not coming into the country, that could, if you put tourism as your main source of revenue, then you would be at a loss as a country. Changes in visitor numbers can lead to differences in wages and joblessness among the local labor force. Then what are the management? What are the careful management of tourism's contribution to it being sustainable? What are those ways that countries work with in order to make tourism sustainable? Okay, so now imagine a garden full with different flowers and animals. The ecosystem of the garden would suffer if guests came to appreciate it but stepped on the plants, randomly picked flowers, and disturbed the wildlife's habitat. The garden can, however, continue to thrive while welcoming guests with proper management, such as designating paths for visitors, offering instructions on appropriate behavior, and putting conservation measures in place. Similar to this, tourist attractions have to be managed so as to maintain a balance between the needs of tourists and the protection of the environment, cultural heritage, and local well-being. So this requires actions such as sustainable development, so promoting eco-friendly transportation, reducing waste and energy consumption, and supporting local businesses to minimize environmental impact while minimizing economic and social benefits. So, and then community engagement, involving local communities in decision-making processes and ensuring that they benefit from tourism through a job opportunity, revenue sharing, and capacity building. Then you have to educate your visitors. Provide information to tourists about the importance of responsible travel, including respect for local customs and ecosystems. This is an IGCSE paper. You can pause the video to try it out before I showcase the answer. Okay, so here are the answers. Working in a hotel, as a receptionist, porter, chambermaid, working in a restaurant, as a cook, waitress, taxi, bus driver, working in a water park, spa, or other. This is another question. Please pause it and work on it. Thank you. These are the answers. Yeah. Ideas such as north of the island, on the coast, north of Port Louis. Yeah, for 5II. Okay, just you can read the mark scheme. I don't have to read it. Okay, so I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope it helped you gain knowledge on tourism, basically. Yeah, thank you.